Hello and welcome to the WRFL Weekend Preview. Andrew Wilson here along with Peppe Cavalieri. Welcome, Peppe.
G'day, Willow.
Let's start with TIV Division 1 Altona hosting Point Cook. The Vikings were dominant last week against the Kangaroos, but it's going to be a very, very tough ask for Point Cook to get the 4 points.
Yeah, I think so, Willow. I'll be tipping the Vikings this week. Too strong for Point Cook, in my opinion.
Caroline Springs take on Werribee Districts. The Lakers continue to roll, and this week they hosted Tigers, who'll be disappointed after going down by 1 point to Deer Park last weekend.
Yeah, really close contest in the end down there. Tigers unlucky not to win in the end. You know, it's always maybe a bit of luck comes into things when it's a 1 point ball game either way. Caroline Springs, though, they might officially be the real deal. 5-0, very tidy outfit at the moment. Amazing start to the season. Very good win last week. Defensive masterclass, only conceding 3 goals against Spotswood. I think they'll win again this week.
Yeah, I agree. The Lakers will be too strong in that one. Spotswood take on Sunshines. Both sides struggled to score last week. Spotswood managed to kick the 3 goals against Caroline Springs, while Sunshine, they were held goalless against Altona.
Yeah, it's an interesting game, this one. I think Spotswood will be too strong. I think they're the better team overall, but it's just going to come down to who can find a way to goal, as you mentioned, because both struggling to score of late. I think the Woodsmen need to get a wriggle on and win this one to keep their top 3 hopes alive.
Yeah, I'm on the Woodsmen as well. Yarraville set and take on Deer Park. The Eagles were competitive last week, down by just 14 points to the Warriors, and the Lions snuck home by a point over Werribee Districts.
Yeah, so the Lions back and positive in their win-loss, 3-2, so they're tracking along nicely. I think they'll beat Yarraville Seddon, but I think they have to be wary of the Eagles, because the Eagles' best is very competitive, as we saw last week, only losing by a couple of goals to Hoppers Crossing. So especially at home at Yarraville, should be an interesting game, but I think Deer Park will win.
Yeah, agree. I think the Lions will win that one. St Albans Hoppers Crossing have the week off because they had their game brought forward on Good Friday, where St Albans got the win that afternoon. So that was TIV Division 1. Now Division 2, Newport host Albion. This is our match of the day on 88.9 WYN FM, so tune in from 1:30. Newport are desperate for a win after losing their past 3 games, while the Cats broke a 3-game losing streak, knocking off Glenorton last week.
Yeah, you're right. Albion were good last week. Big win over Glenorton. I didn't tip them, so they're sort of hot and cold, the Cats. Their best is good, but when they're not quite there, they can struggle. So it'll be interesting to see which Albion turns up. I'm going to tip them, though. I think they'll win. Just Newport maybe just lacking a bit of confidence at the moment. They haven't won in a while. So, yeah, the Cats for mine, Willow. Cats
for me as well. North Footscray take on Windemere. The Devils were no match for Point Cook Centrals last week, while the Falcons look to make it 4 straight wins.
Yeah, Windemere are on a bit of a heater at the moment, Willow. They're playing some good footy, and I think they'll make it 4 in a row.
I agree. I'm going to pick Windemere to win that one as well. Parkside host Glenorton. The Magpies look to make it 6 straight, while the Hawks was a big loss in the end to Albion by 73 points.
Yeah, it was. I expect them to play much better. And Parkside as well, even though they did win last week, they trailed for 3 quarters against West Footscray, which is probably not what we expected. We expected them to win a little easier than that. So they'll need to lift their game if they're to beat Glenorton, even though Glenorton are coming off a disappointing performance. So I think it'll be interesting to see what transpires between these two, but I think Parkside should win.
Yeah, I agree. I think Parkside will win that one. West Footscray take on Point Cook Centrals. West Footscray pushed Parkside. They're in front for the first 3 quarters, but just came up short in the end. Well, the Sharks had a comfortable win, and they're clearly on top of the ladder in Division 2.
Yeah, agreed. I think Point Cook Central's obviously going to this game very strong favourites. West Footscray, we know at home, are a tough proposition at the best of times. It'll be interesting to see how the Roosters respond to their performance last week, because plenty of positives, obviously leading Parkside for much of the game, but then to not get the 4 points would be disappointing. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. Time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the Sharks will win that one. Now, Alan Mance Motors Division 3, Auburn Vale take on Sunshine. The Cobras, they won a thriller over the Dragons by 2 points. But you think that'd be too strong for the Roadrunners this weekend?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Pretty close game last week, North Sunshine going down to Laverton, so they're still without a win this season. I think, obviously, the Cobras should be too good.
Yeah, great Cobras in that one. Laverton take on the Suns. The Magpies got their first win of the season over North Sunshine, so congratulations to the Laverton Football Club, but it's going to be very hard for them this week as they take on the ladder-leading Suns.
Yeah, they were really good last week against the Titans, the Suns. So I think, again, too good for Laverton.
I agree. Suns in that one. Sunshine Heights take on Braybrook. This is match of the day, probably across almost all three divisions, you think, this weekend, as the Dragons just fell short against the Cobras. Well, the Brookers, they come into this one off the bye.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Will, it could be one of the games of the round. Certainly, I expect this one to be close. I think Sunshine Heights at home might be just have the edge, but the Brookers, it's a big game for them because if they lose, they'll be 1-3. Just puts them a little bit behind the 8 ball. So should be a cracking game, but I think the Sunny Heights for me.
Yep. I'm on the Brookers in that one. Tarnate have the bye. That was Alan Mance Motors Division 3. This has been the WRFL Weekend Preview. Good luck to your team this weekend.